So today we will be looking at slokha 16. We are very familiar with this mantra. Om Sri Raghavendraya Namaha Ishtakshakshara Mantrataha Japitad Bhavita Nityam Ishtartaha Shurna Samshayaha. So, by doing or by reciting this 8-letter mantra, Ashtakshari mantra means 8-letter mantra, Sri Raghavendraya Namaha, Om Raghavendraya Namaha, or Om Sri Raghavendraya Namaha, one will always achieve what is desired. Mishtartasnu, na samshaya, without any doubt. There is no doubt about this. Mantra is called by the name Man because manatrayate, by thinking about it, the deity presiding over mantra protects you. So, Om Sri Raghavendraya Namaha. So, most of us have, like even I used to sometimes before I learned it from my gurus, Om Sri Raghavendra Namaha, basically it talks about only Guru Raghavendra. That is not the case. Because Sanskrit is a hidden language. Hidden means Guhya Bhashe. That's what we call in Kannada. When you say Om Sri Raghavendraya Namaha, as per Satyatma Tirtharu, when you say Om Sri Raghavendraya Namaha, he neatly explains in Sanskrit. I am not even authorized to say what he said because I do not know the language, but I am basically giving you what he said, the gist of what he said. So, when you say Om Sri Raghavendraya Namaha, it means also like Hari Sarvottama, Vayu Jivottama, Mukhya Pranaya Namaha. It also means Sitapate Sri Ramachandraya Namaha, Sri Raghavendraya Namaha. Raghava means one who hails from Raghuvamsha. Indra, Raghavendra means Indra of Raghuvamsha, none other than Ramachandra. Sri Ramachandra, Sri Raghavendraya means Sitapate Sri Ramachandraya Namaha. That's what it actually means. It also means because our Pattabhisheka Nama of Rayaru, because he had to forego his earlier name of Venkatanatha, is Sri Raghavendraya Namaha means when you say Sri Raghavendraya Namaha, it also applies to him. Then, okay. So, what is the advantage of who actually experienced first the advantage of reciting this mantra? Venkana, and earlier you have heard about Venkana, but I'm just giving you a few more details. Okay? So now, in the 17th century, the kingdom of Bijapur extended from southeastern Maharashtra to southern Andhra Pradesh or Rayalaseema. It encompassed even northern Karnataka and southwest Telangana. You can just assume this in your shape. From southeastern Maharashtra to southern Andhra Pradesh, and then encompassing northern Karnataka and southwest Telangana. Okay, that was the Bijapur kingdom. And Adil Shah was the Sultan of Bijapur. And then he divided his kingdom into smaller regions and appointed satraps or governors to collect revenue and maintain law and order. And Adoni happened to be one of the regional headquarters. And the Siddhi Masood Khan was the governor of Adoni when our beloved Rairu was visiting that place. And people were really scared of this Sultan Siddhi Masood Khan because because of his blood relation to Adil Shah, he was enjoying more autonomy, to collect taxes or even to expand his kingdom. Okay, let us come back to Venkana. Who was Venkana? Venkana lost his parents at his very young age. He was not poor, but his uncles or dayadis confiscated his property, and because he is a kind of orphan without even a single parents, they were mistreating him. And then he didn't even go to school. He was living like a vagabond. Okay. And then, what was the name of the village where he was living? The village name was Kandanati. Kandanati, it is closer to Raichur. Okay. So when our beloved Rairu was on tour after his Chaturmasya, he was actually on his way to Sri Shailam. So he halted at a devotee's home in Kandanati, and Venkana came to know about him. And then, as inspired by Lord Ram, he served Rairu. Okay, so when Rairu was about to leave on that last day, Rairu looks at Venkana and then asks him, quote, Venkana, what can Moolarama do for you? Okay, so, excuse me. So Venkana falls on his feet and laments about the state of his life. Rairu told him that he would see, because of his aparoksha jnana, Rairu foresees what is stored in for Venkana. And then he tells him, you would see a bright future, okay? And told him to remember me when you are in peril, okay? Just remember my name when you are in peril, and then rest of the things will be taken care of. And then he leaves, but after meeting Rairu, a big change comes in Venkana's way of life. So before that, he would not even take his shower regularly. So he starts taking his shower. He starts putting on neat clothes, okay? And then on a fateful day, or I can say on a consequential day, he would be just taking care of cattle, and then he would be on the outskirts of village. This Adoni Satra, Siddhi Masood Khan, came to that place riding an elephant and then surrounded by his armed soldiers. And then another couple of riders suddenly would show up in another direction, and then they gave 2 letters to Masood Khan. And then he was not able to decipher. So, not even any of his soldiers. So he would just take a look around, and then he saw this guy, okay. He realizes by looking at him, oh, he appears to be a Brahman. Brahmans are normally they're literates. So he would call him, like, what's your name? Venkanari. Oh, okay, Venkanari, just read this. Then Venkana, shivering, says, Huzur, I do not know how to read. Please excuse me. He says, what? Are you Brahman? You're lying to me? Okay, you know what would happen if you don't read this? I would tie you to the leg of elephant, and then you would be dragged all along. You would die. You want to die? Then, like Venkana, simply shivering, then suddenly remembers Guru. So he just prays Guru. Then what happens? Surprisingly, the very next moment, he fluently started reading the letter, even without his own knowledge. That's what happens in his miracles. The letter brought great news to Masood Khan. Victory in a battle and being blessed with a son. The elated king actually employs Venkana for his, he actually takes him to his kingdom, Adoni, and then asks him, okay, I would give you a big post. The Venkana would say, no, 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 Huzur, I do not know even to read right. So he gives him a small post. But after that, Venkana starts, learning things. He becomes a literate, he becomes a pandit because of his loyalty and then honesty. He was promoted to chief minister post, and then he came to be known as Divan Venkana. And then you all know the role of Venkana played in allocating village of Manchala to Rayuru and carving out Brindavana using that Ramashila. Okay. So that is about Venkana. I do not want to go too many details. Then how this mantra helps us? Like every one of us has a story, like actually more than a story. Because why I would think like this is an ordinary man like me can write a book about how Guru Raghavendra blessed me in many things and how he rescued me, okay, from many dangers. So I don't want to spend too much time because again that feeds my ego like I, me, I, me, I, me. So I just share one incident, okay, that happens. It just to tell you like how Rayuru takes care of his devotees, okay. So in 2007, I was doing internship at Argonne National Laboratories. Normally, the practice was like when I was driving to Argonne, I would be actually reciting mantras, prayers, Vishnu Sahasranama, and even other mantras. And then on my way back, the usual practice was used to be like I listened to songs of Annamaya or Dasarapada. That day, that particular day, without my knowledge, I suddenly started saying Sri Purna Bodha Guru Tirtha aloud. And then after getting to fourth or fifth shloka, then I realized, hey, why did I start? I should be listening to songs, right? Oh, okay, anyway, I started, so let me continue this. So after, when I am coming from South Cass Avenue, I would take 55 North and then 294 North. And then the traffic suddenly started slowing down because of repairs when I was closing in that Irving Park toll. So I was slowing down, I applied brakes, and then I was just concluded Stotra. And then suddenly had a big impact behind me, okay? So someone hit my car from behind. The impact was really, it's a kind of highly impact. My car just moved 90 degrees horizontally and then went into the leftmost lane. Luckily, the traffic was slowing down. Yeah, one SUV was about to, jackknife me, and then it stopped. And then those fellows, the entire traffic stopped, and then they came around and they say, "Are you okay? Are you okay?" Said, and everything. Then this, the cops came, and then ambulance came, and then they saw me. I was in a state of shock. I said, "No, nothing happened to me. I'm not injured, no injury, nothing." And then the ambulance guy told me, you can call us even later, okay, if you experience anything. So everything, the other guy got ticket because he didn't stop. Then I came back and then said, I was thinking, say, what is this? I was reciting Guru Stotra, and then how come when I concluded, a guy came and then hit me back? Then I remembered what once the Chaganti said, come what may, you have to experience your karma pala. A big accident was supposed to happen to me that day. But because of the grace of Guru, the impact was made very, 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 very tiny. It was made very smaller because of His grace. So someone had to got to hit me that day, and then he hit me. And then I was supposed to experience a big injury and then even maybe admitted to hospital or losing something. But because of grace of Guru, it became really small and actually nothing happened to me because even the insurance covered me because the other guy he had insurance, I had insurance. So nothing happened to me that day. So it is, I didn't pray Rayuru voluntarily, okay, thinking that something was to me. He inspired me to start praying me, and then he took care of my life that day. Okay? This is one small example to tell you like how Rayuru takes care of you. Okay? And I am really blessed to get this slot where the ardent devotees like Krishnan, Jayant, and Somayajalu did interpretation. And I cannot agree more when Sri Jayant and Sri Somayajalu said, Krishnan set really a high bar in interpretation, and it is difficult to take a turn after him, but I just did my best. My friends did not object when I proposed the idea of every devotee sharing the story of a miracle by Rayuru for a few weeks before we move to next slokha. So Mr. Krishnan signed up, but after Krishnan, if you want to share your own story about Rayuru's miracle in your life, you can do it. We can do this for a few weeks before we go to next slokha. And then next Thursday happens to be Ekadashi. We need to combine two sessions, Thursday session and Ekadashi session, and plan accordingly. And please forgive me if there are any mistakes in my interpretation. If you like, credit goes to my Savior Rayuru, who never let me down. Om Sri Raghavendraya Namaha.